Whenever we get lined up for landing, the first thing we're going to pay attention to is our center line. Literally picture the extended center line out here. Alright, we're going to bank for that. So we'll bank right or left as needed. Second thing I'm going to be looking at, if I zoom in, I can see that my aiming point, in a second once I hit play, it's actually going to adjust, but my aiming point is going to be the numbers right here or a little bit past it. So it's the point where when you're tracking straight towards it, it's no longer going up or down, it's the point where it doesn't look like it's moving. So if you were to track straight towards it and you would whack right into it. Third thing I'm looking at is going to be my airspeed. Alright, so don't worry about this right now, but the whole time we're going to be maintaining approximately 65 knots. Now I'm already configured here, so I have 30 degrees flaps. And then once I get closer, I'm going to kick my nose over with the rudder in order to align myself with the runway, and then I'm just going to bank in order to keep my center line. And then finally, whenever that aiming point disappears below my nose, I'm going to smoothly transition, which means I'm no longer going to be looking down right here. I'm going to transition my eyes over here, and then I'm just going to round out and hold her off. Alright, here we go. So, I'm adjusting my center line. And now my aiming point I put as the numbers. Notice how I pitched for that. So I brought the nose right there, and then I'm keeping my airspeed with my throttle. Alright, so I can tell what way my nose is pointing now, so of course I use rudder to make sure I'm aligned. And you can see that I'm banking a little bit to the right here. And notice how the nose is just slightly to the right, so as I get closer I'm going to kick over the nose a little bit more to where we're aligned. Alright, the aiming point of the numbers disappears below my nose. Notice how smoothly I'm going to round out here. Just like that. Now if we look outside, see how low to the ground we actually are? So it looks kind of high whenever we're actually in the plane, but we're incredibly low to the ground. And then notice how I'm flying perfectly perpendicular to the runway. You know, I'm perfectly straight and level. So if I kept enough power in, I would literally just slow fly down the runway permanently. Alright, so then I'll walk out my power, and then I hold it off. I hold it off, hold it off, hold it off. You can see how much back pressure I'm having to give it. Hold it off more and more and more as I slow down. Now notice here, whenever we start running out of energy, running out of airspeed, the sight picture here, we're no longer flying straight and level. It's going to start sinking. It's going to start going down. And that's how you can tell whenever you need more and more back pressure. Now let's look outside real quick. So as we're coming in, even though it looks kind of extreme pushing the nose down here, but realistically you can see how low of a pitch we actually have. So when we're coming in, look how easy the transition is. See, barely perceptible, barely noticeable. So hold her off, hold it off, hold it off. Then watch when I touch down, the nose is going to be higher. Mains touch first, then the nose. Nose is still in the air, notice it? There you go. And notice how I'm keeping that back pressure. So if I wanted to, I can keep that back pressure to help me with aerodynamic braking, and then I could just use my normal braking to slow me down. So, you know, we can easily make the taxiway right here. Alright, so we're going to look at it again from the exterior. So notice how I'm banking here to get on my center line. Alright, the nose is still cockeyed a little bit. So there's a couple of ways to actually land in a crosswind. So you can either crab into it, which again, your nose may be pointed off from where your direction of travel is. That's a crabbing. But you're going to have to exit that crab above the runway. So you'll have to kick in rudder, and you're going to have to bank into the wind in order to keep you tracking straight down. But you can also just put in a side slip early. So let's say if the wind was coming from the right, I would just go ahead and start banking to the right and just use enough rudder to keep my nose straight. And then I would land in that orientation, because that's the way we're landing anyways, right? Alright, so as we're coming in, Ignore the floating rocks there. You can see how right here, look how low to the ground I am. So this is perfect. Even if I were to do a full stall right now, it would be pretty smooth. And I'm just holding it off, holding it off, holding it off, holding it off more and more. And you skirt it right on. That's how you do a full stall landing.